Let me tell you something right off the bat. If you told me a year ago I'd be going to war with an HOA queen pin over my own family's ranch, I'd have laughed in your face and poured you another beer. But here I am. And let me just say, Texas dirt's got a long memory, and so do I. I rolled back into the hill country at sunrise, dust caking my truck, the air thick enough to chew. My wife Rachel was next to me, wrangling a gas station coffee, and our kids were in the back, dead to the world. That ranch, 6,000 acres of baked clay and old ghosts, waited for us just over the last hill, and the second I saw it, my whole chest tightened up like a clenched fist. Wasn't nostalgia. It was duty. See, for weeks earlier, my granddad had texted me. Never called, that man. Just sent. Knee got opened. Need you bring tools. No punctuation, no frills. He'd raised me up after Dad died, so I didn't hesitate. Said goodbye to city life and headed back to the only place where the land still looks you dead in the eye. Now, first thing I saw when I pulled up, a shiny metal sign at the end of our gravel drive. You are now entering Sycamore Heights HOA. Authorized access only. Let me back up a sec. This was my family's land, not some plastic subdivision. So I did what any half-awake Texan would do. I ripped that sign out by the roots and burned it. Right there by the barn. A little fire, a lot of cussing, and a bad feeling settling in my stomach. Granddad was waiting on the porch, cane at his side, eyes sharp as ever. She finally did it. He said, Karen Llewellyn, president of Sycamore Heights, HOA dictator for life, moved in 6 years back and had been nibbling away at our boundaries ever since. And now she declared herself queen of the road, claiming the only drive east belonged to her little empire of beige houses and matching mailboxes. Next morning, we'd barely finished breakfast when 3 SUVs rolled up, black, gray, white, just so you got the picture. Karen herself stepped out, flanked by a lawyer and a scrawny kid with a drone case like he was holding the Ark of the Covenant. She made her way up the steps, flashed that HOA smile, the kind that says, I'll ruin you, but I have to pretend to be polite. She talked a blue streak about boundary revisions and shared infrastructure, wanted us to proactively join the community. I nearly spat out my coffee. I told her straight, this land's been ours since before Texas had pavement, and I'm not attending any homeowners meeting. Her lawyer tried to hand me some nonsense paperwork about easements and uniformity. I pointed right back at the driveway and said, if you want to avoid escalation, you better start by getting off our land. I thought maybe she'd get the hint, but nope. She played her trump card, the sheriff. But this wasn't the old sheriff, the one who'd drink a beer on the porch and swap stories. This was a new guy, straight out of the packaging, sunglasses and duty belt, there to hand me an administrative warning about rejecting association membership. You know what I mean? Paperwork so thick with jargon, it may as well have been written in crayon. When my granddad came out and asked if he had a warrant, the deputy stammered and left faster than he'd arrived. The next escalation was straight up absurd. We got served civil court papers. Karen's HOA had filed a suit, including a revised zoning map that magically annexed our entire east border, and get this, a forged trust document signed by a Gregory T. Murdoch. Never heard of him. Neither had we. I spent hours on the phone with the county, zoning board, anyone who'd listen. Most acted like I'd asked for nuclear launch codes. But I didn't back off. After dinner, me and Granddad sat out on the porch, watched fireflies blink through the dusk, and decided enough was enough. Next day, I drove to the county office, file folder in one hand, GoPro in my jacket. 'Cause I don't trust anyone at this point. The clerk, I pushed him, gently, and sure enough, he lets me glimpse the audit file. Right there, zoning overlays stamped with Karen's signature, forged documents. Our ranch highlighted like a prize turkey. I recorded what I could and got out before anyone changed their mind. Then I called Ray Graham, Granddad's old military buddy, turned property lawyer. He saw the footage and said, that's enough for an injunction. Won't stop them, but it'll throw a wrench in their gears. Meanwhile, those drones kept buzzing. Turns out the kid from the HOA had subcontracted a company specializing in compliance enforcement, which in plain English means flying over your land, taking photos of your sheds and fences, and writing up violations for things like non-compliant livestock visibility and unpainted fencing. Federal law didn't matter to them. So, yeah, I bought myself a net launcher, caught one of those birds out of the sky, and cracked it open. Found images, notes, even lists of target properties. This was no neighborhood dispute. This was tactical. Karen doubled down, dropping propaganda leaflets from the air. Join now. Install white fencing. Hide your animals. It was like living in a parody of Apocalypse Now. I burned every last flyer and took the kids to their aunt's place, because at this point, I wasn't taking chances. Then the trenchers came. Big trucks, bulldozers. Infrastructure maintenance. They cut a ditch right across our only road, deep enough to trap us in the next ring. Called the sheriff? Got told it was a civil matter. So I called Cheryl, a freelance journalist I knew from Austin, someone who'd never met a developer she didn't scare. She came down, got it all on video, and within a day, our story was everywhere. And just when you think it can't get crazier, it does. Journalists got threatened. Our mail got tampered with. Someone set fire to our old battery pile. I started sleeping with a shotgun under the bed. Rachel got the kids out of the house for good after we found a photo of our son in the mailbox. Someone watching us, getting closer. But the twist? The state came knocking. 2 investigators from the Attorney General's office. Anonymous tip, they said. Her nephew got canned, and the county clerk's office went dark. People started shredding files, running scared. We were in the eye of a real storm now. Then came the final stand, court. I walked into that sterile beige courtroom, looked the judge dead in the eye, and told them everything. 6 generations, 6,000 acres, and one hell of a paper trail. I laid out the fakes, the threats, the trench, the drones, the whole rotten scheme. Cheryl testified, even after someone slashed her tires. Kyle, the clerk, rolled in with a duffel bag of emails and memos they'd been burying. Complaints for years, targeting old ranchers, waiting for folks to die so they could move the land on. By week's end, Sycamore Heights HOA was dead. Dissolved, gone, their queen pin Karen facing. Enough felony charges to wallpaper a courthouse. And our ranch, untouchable. We threw a barbecue the next weekend. Neighbors, old vets, even a few honest bureaucrats came by. Granddad, cigar in one hand, cane in the other, just grinned and said, "Same thing I always do. Keep this dirt honest." I never did go back to Austin. Instead, I took the bar exam, opened a little legal office out of the old equipment shed, and started helping other folks fight back. Won my first case for a widow fined over her roof. The HOA sent the notice in Comic Sans. I nearly framed it. Karen went away for a long time. The old HOA office is now a public archive. Boxes of evidence, a plaque over the door. Here lies the paperwork that almost stole Texas. Granddad got the last word. In a documentary, looked straight at the camera and said, "Land ain't something you take with forms and stamps. You want it, you better know how to plow it first." Now, I'm asking you, if you had to choose between standing up for what's right and rolling over, which way would you go? Drop your story in the comments. Tell me what justice looks like where you live. 'Cause out here, we learn the hard way. Some fights you just can't ignore, and some dirt, well, it remembers who stood their ground.